See, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 9, Text 10. तस्यैकदा भृगुश्रेष्ठ पुष्पभद्रा चते मुने उपासीनस्य सन्ध्यायं ब्रह्मन् Vayur O Brahmana Shaunaka, best of the Bhrigus. One day, while Markandeya was performing his evening worship on the bank of the Pushpabhadra, a great wind suddenly arose. Krishna had already told him that he blessed him, that his desire for seeing the illusory energy of the Lord will be fulfilled. So he was constantly meditating on his desire to see the Lord's illusory energy. And so suddenly, one day, suddenly a great wind arose on the bank of the Pushpabhadra. Tam Chanda Shabdam Samudhiryantam Balahaka Anva Abhavan Karala Aksha Stavishta Mumuchustadidbi Swananta Uchair Abhivarshadara. That wind created a terrible sound and brought in its wake fearsome clouds that were accompanied by lightning and roaring thunder, and that poured down on all sides torrents of rain as heavy as wagon wheels. As heavy as wagon wheels. Before, we saw that in the Govardhan Leela, the rains, each drop of rain was like a big pillar. Here the weight is described. Tato vyadrashyanta chatu samudra samantatha kshamaatalam agrasanta samira begor mibhir ugranakra mahabhaya varta ghabira gosha. Then the four great oceans appeared on all sides, swallowing up the surface of the earth with their wind-tossed waves. In these oceans were terrible sea monsters, fearful whirlpools, and ominous rumblings. So he was on the earth, and from his viewpoint, suddenly all the oceans just swallowed up the surface of the earth. And all the terrible sea monsters also he could see. Antar bahis chadbir ati dyubi karai shatrad शतह्रदाभिर् उपतापितं जगत् चतुर्विधं वीक्ष्य सहात्मना मुनिर् जलाप्लुतां क्षमान् विमना समात्रसत्. The sage saw all the inhabitants of the universe, including himself, tormented within and without by the harsh winds, the bolts of lightning, and the great waves rising beyond the sky. As the whole earth flooded, he grew perplexed and fearful. Purport. Here the word Chaturvidam refers to the four sources of birth for conditioned souls: embryos, eggs, seeds, and perspiration. So he saw all the inhabitants of the universe, and for that it is meant Chadbir, Chatur Bi. No, Chaturvidam. Chaturvidam. All the inhabitants of the universe, Jagat. Jagat Chaturvidam are four varieties. Those who have taken birth from embryos, like humans and animals, from eggs, like birds, from seeds, like plants, and from perspiration, like germs. So all of them he could see. Tasyaivam udvikshita urmi bhishana prabhanjana gurnita var maharnava apuryamano varshadbir ambudhai kshma kshmam apyadad dvipa varshadribi samam. Even as Markandeya looked on, the rain pouring down from the clouds filled the ocean more and more until that great sea, its waters violently whipped into terrifying waves by hurricanes, covered up all the earth's islands, mountains, and continents. Sa Kshamantriksham sa divam sa bhaganam Trailokyam asit sahadigbir aplutam sa eka evor varito mahamunir Babhrama Bhikshipya Jata Jadandavat. The water inundated the earth, outer space, heaven, and the celestial region. Indeed, the entire expanse of the universe was flooded in all directions, and out of all its inhabitants, only Markandeya remained. Everyone else died in the floods. Naturally, water completely goes over you. Then nobody was living, even the people in the heavenly planets. It goes, I mean, the waters kept on increasing. It's coming from Patal Loka, rising and rising on the earth, and then it went above on the sky, and then it went up to the heaven and up to Maharloka. That is all the normally partial dissolution is up to that. And out of everyone, only Markandeya remained. His matted hair scattered. The great sage wandered about alone in the water as if dumb and blind. Wandered about means what? He was tossed around, cannot walk on it. Kshutrit parito makarais timingilair upadruto vichi nabasa vatahata tamasmi pare patito brahman disho na vedakam gam cha parishramita. Can you please mute?
Yes,
Tormented
Mataji.
by and
Yeah.
thirst, attacked by monstrous. So he felt hunger and thirst, tormented by hunger and thirst, attacked by monstrous makaras and timingala fish, and battered by the wind and waves. He moved aimlessly through the infinite darkness into which he had fallen. As he grew increasingly exhausted, he lost all sense of direction and could not tell the sky from the earth. So, it was also dark, so he could not see anything. So he didn't know where he was, which is the sky, which is the earth, and moreover, tormented by hunger and thirst. You can imagine how it must have been. And the fishes were also there. Fishes didn't die because they are very happy in water until they also, I don't know, till they run out of fish. Fishes keep eating the other fishes. And only the biggest fishes were there, makaras and timingala. Makara is shark, and timingila is another fish. A variety of huge fish that eats whales. You can imagine how big the timingila fish would have been. Makaras, a species of monster crocodile. Yeah. Makara kundala is the shape of a crocodile, this earrings. So imagine, so huge. Timingala is a variety of huge fish that eats whales. And Makara is a species of monster crocodile attacked by them and battered by the, I don't know how he managed to keep alive, battered by wind and waves. He moved aimlessly through the infinite darkness into which he had fallen. As he grew increasingly exhausted, he lost all sense of direction and could not tell the sky from the earth. Kvachin magno mahavarte तरलैस्तादित क्वचित् याधोभिर्भक्ष्यते क्वापि स्वयम् अन्योन्यगातिभिः क्वचिच्चोकं क्वचिन्मोहं क्वचित् दुःखं सुखं भयं क्वचिन् मृत्युम् अवाप्नोति व्याधि उतार्दितः. At times he was engulfed by the great whirlpools. Sometimes he was beaten by the mighty waves, and at other times the aquatic monsters threatened to devour him as they attacked one another. Sometimes he felt lamentation, bewilderment, misery, happiness, or fear. I don't know how he felt happy, happiness there, or fear. And at other times he experienced such terrible illness and pain that he felt himself dying. He must have regretted what kind of a boon I asked from Krishna. Ayutha Yuta Varshanam Sahasrani Shatani Cha Vyati Yur Brahmatastasmin Vishnu Maya Vritatmana. Countless millions of years passed as Markandeya wandered about in that deluge, his mind bewildered by the illusory energy of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a nice lesson for us. Never desire to witness Maya Devi, illusory potency of the Lord. We are, as it is, suffering in this material world, which is the illusory potency. And then to see it further, after doing so much tapasya, sa kadachid brahmam stasmin pritibhya kakudi dvija nyagrodapotam dadrishe falapallava shobhitam. Once, while wandering in the water, the Brahmana Markandeya discovered a small island upon which stood a young banyan tree bearing blossoms and fruits. Prag uttarsyam shakayam tasyapi dadrishe shishum shayanam parna putake grasantam prabhayatama. Upon a branch of the northeast portion of the tree, he saw an infant boy lying within a leaf. The child's effulgence was swallowing up the darkness. Mahamarakata Shamam Srimad Vadana Pankajam Kambugrivam Mahoraksham Sunasam Sundarabhruvam Swasai Jad Alakha Bhatam Kambusi Karnadadimam Vidrumadhara Vase Shach Chonayita Sudhasmitam Padmagarbarunapangam Hridaya Asavalokanam Shwasai Vali Sambigna Nimnanabidalodaram Charva Angulibhyam Panibhyam Unniya Charanambujam Muke Nidaya Viprendro Dayantam Vikshya Vismita. The infant's dark blue complexion was the color of a flawless emerald. His lotus face shone with a wealth of beauty, and his throat bore marks like the lines on a conch shell. He had a broad chest, a finely shaped nose, beautiful eyebrows, and lovely ears that resembled pomegranate flowers. Pomegranate flowers look a bit like hibiscus flowers. So his ears resembled that, and that had inner folds like a conch shell spirals. The corners of his eyes were reddish like the wall of a lotus, and the effulgence of his coral-like lips slightly reddened the nectarian, enchanting smile on his face. As he breathed, his splendid hair trembled, and his deep navel became distorted by the moving folds of skin on his abdomen, which resembled a banyan leaf. The exalted Brahmana watched with amazement as the infant took hold of one of his lotus feet with his graceful fingers, placed a toe within his mouth, and began to suck the young child. So it said, wait, Vipraviksha Unniya. Okay, picking up. Unniya, I thought maybe, what is the meaning of unni? Because in Malayalam, unni means small. But here in Sanskrit, it means picking up. The young child was the supreme personality of Godhead. According to Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, Lord Krishna wondered, so many devotees are hankering for the nectar of my lotus feet. Therefore, let me personally experience that nectar. Thus the Lord, playfully like an ordinary baby, began to suck on his toes. So, Markandeya, this is what happens. Before we get Krishna, we have to see the miseries of illusory energy, how she completely bewilders us, makes us go through her treacherous, the way she just completely bewilders us. And then finally, the reward for all that, going through that, being tossed in the ocean of suffering, is when you see Krishna. So Markandeya also felt so happy in the darkness. He was just tossed around without any food. Can you imagine? I don't know how he lasted. Millions of years he lasted in that ocean. Just that suffering. He didn't need any food or anything. Because Krishna was keeping him alive. Just to go through this experience. And such torture. And finally, he saw upon a branch on the northeast portion of the tree, he saw an infant boy lying within a leaf. And so, looking perfectly beautiful and very cute, putting his toe into his mouth. You know, that painting of the Krishna, which looks so attractive. Tad darshanad vita parishramo mudam protfulla hrit padma vilochanambuja prahrishta roma bhuta bhava sankita prashtum purastam rasasara sara balakam. As Markandeya beheld the child, all his weariness vanished. Indeed, so great was his pleasure that the lotus of his heart, along with his lotus eyes, fully blossomed, and the hairs on his body stood on end. Confused as to the identity of that wonderful infant, the sage approached him. Markandeya wanted to ask the child about his identity and therefore approached him. So you can see how, as he saw the child, all tiredness went away and he began to experience pleasure. So much so that his heart, which was like a lotus, and his eyes, which were also like a lotus, fully blossomed, and also hairs on his body stood on end. So yesterday, Guru Maharaj, in his talk, he was telling about how we should do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, when we should be very Krishna conscious, because Krishna desires so much to come and interact with us in different relationships. He's always waiting to do that. So in Markandeya's case also, he gave all this experience. Okay, he smiled. This is the boon you asked. After seeing everything, he was not, I mean, he had no experience of how horrible material illusion is. And so he had to go through that. But then at the end, of course, Krishna was always overseeing everything. And similarly, all of us are here on this journey to experience material illusion. We are then finally we are on this, just like Markandeya saw the beautiful Krishna on a banyan leaf. We know that there's no use in this illusory energy, this world which is a creation of the illusory energy. And we want to experience the reality with Krishna. Tavat chishor vai swasitena bhargava sonta shariram mashako yata visat. tatrapi adonyashtam achashta krishna sho yata pura muhyad ativa vismita. Just then the child inhaled, drawing Markandeya within his body like a mosquito. He went near him to see him, but what we can see the Lord, he just drew him into his body like as if he was just a tiny mosquito. He thought he's a small baby, mm, and then he was inhaled into his body. There the sage found the entire universe arrayed as it had been before its dissolution. Seeing this, Markandeya was most astonished and perplexed. Imagine, he is actually seeing the universe as it is inside his stomach, and outside the stomach, he was in the full water of devastation. And actually, you'll be very confused. That is Krishna's Maya potency, his energy, anything is possible. And Krishna is just, all kinds of contradictions are adjusted, all the opposites are adjusted within Krishna. He can do anything. Something is there, something is not there also. Kam rodasi bhaga ghanam adri Sagaran, Dvipan Sabarshan, Kakubha Surasuran, Vanani Deshan, Sarita Purakaran, Ketan Vrajan Ashrama Varna Vrittaya, Mahanti Bhutani Atabautikani Asau, Kalam Chanana Yuga Kalpa Kalpanam, Yatkinchid Anyad Vyavahara Karanam, Dadarsha Vishwam Sad Ivaba Bhasitam. The sage saw the entire universe, the sky, heavens, and earth, the stars, mountains, oceans, great islands, and continents, the expanses in every direction, the saintly and demoniac living beings, the forests, countries, rivers, cities, and mines, and the agricultural villages and cow pastures, and the occupational and spiritual activities of the various social divisions. He also saw the basic elements of creation along with all their byproducts, as well as time itself, which regulates the progression of countless ages within the days of Brahma. In addition, he saw everything else created for use in material life. All this he saw manifested before him as if it were real. So, just like Arjuna saw the Vishwarupa, he had another darshan, a different type inside the body of the Lord. He saw everything. And he's saying all this he saw manifested before him as if it were real. It's just like how you're seeing now what we're experiencing, the same thing experienced inside the stomach. It was not as if it was on a screen or something, or something very, very surreal or something. It was actually like how you're experiencing this. Then suppose suddenly everything changes, and then you see another thing, you'll be bewildered. Like the Dwarka Vasis, I mean, all the Krishna's the, family, Yadus, they were all sleeping in Mathura one night, and Krishna transferred them to Dwaraka. He created that full city. Everything overnight was created by the by what's his name? The heavenly architect,
Vishwakarma Mataji.
Vishwakarma. Overnight, everything ready, and then these people got up and they saw they're in another place. They're not in Mathura, but they're in Dwaraka. So Krishna can do anything with his mystic power. Himalayam pushpavaham cha tam nadim nijashramam yatra rishi apasyata vishvam vipasyan chvasitas chishorvai bahir nirasto nyapatal layabdau. He saw before him the Himalaya mountains, the Pushpabhadra river, and his own hermitage, where he had had the audience of the sages Naranarayana. Then, as Markandeya beheld the entire universe, the infant exhaled, expelling the sage from his body and casting him back into the ocean of dissolution. So is inhaling and exhaling. And that's how we also, when Mahavishnu inhales, we all go back into his stomach. And when he exhales, we again come back to be, all the universes come out, and then we are also put into that. We also come back. Tasmin prithvya kakudi parudham vatam chatat parne pute shayanam tokam cha tat prema sudasmitena nirikshito apanga niri niरीक्षणेन अततं बालकं वीक्ष्य नेत्राभ्यां दिष्टतां हृदि अभययाद अतिसंक्लिष्ट परिष्वक्तुम् अतोक्षजम्. In that vast sea, he again saw the banyan tree growing on the tiny island and the infant boy lying within the leaf. The child glanced at him from the corner of his eyes with a smile imbued with the nectar of love. And Markandeya took him into his heart through his eyes. Greatly agitated, the sage ran to embrace the transcendental personality of Godhead. So this is what we originally have, extreme love for Krishna. And we are caught up in this illusion. Krishna is showing us birth after birth, so many different illusory things we undergo. And yesterday it was so nice, Guru Maharaj was saying how Krishna wants to come and enjoy with us loving relationships. And I don't know, we are caught up in this illusion. But Krishna is Yogeshwara. He can also take away the illusion from us so that we can really enjoy a loving relationship with him. And he also said that grihasthas should all become paramahamsas. That's what Prabhupada said. You said happily grihasthas are enjoying themselves, thinking, oh, only sannyasi and brahmacharis, now they have to become paramahamsas. He said, no, even grihasthas, because we have Hare Krishna mantra. So he said that, and he also said that those who are, having children, though they should try to give birth or train their children to become future acharyas. And how? By doing Garbhadana Samskara and by eating only Krishna Prasadam. Yes, this. So, like that, very nice instructions he gave yesterday. So, we can see this Markandeya's situation we are also in. We are thinking, we asked for it, and then now we are regretting. Oh, Krishna, why did I want to be in this illusory world? But then Krishna wants us back. He keeps coming to take us back. Tavatsa Bhagavan Sakshad Yogadisho Guhashaya Antardada Rishe Sadhyo Yatehanisha Nirmita. At that moment, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original master of all mysticism and who's hidden within everyone's heart, became invisible to the sage, just as the achievements of an incompetent person can suddenly vanish. Imagine how we'd have felt all alone in the dark ocean, being tossed around for millions of years. And suddenly he became so happy to see the Lord. And he is the original master of all mysticism. And imagine, he's hidden within everyone's heart. And so he was visible and then he became invisible to the sage, just as achievements of an incompetent person can suddenly vanish if they don't know how to protect it. And so he felt like that because he had gained everything and now nothing was left with. Tam anva ata vato brahman salilam loka samplava tirodhai kshanad asya swashrame purvavat sthita. After the Lord disappeared, O Brahmana, the banyan tree, the great water, and the dissolution of the universe all vanished as well. And in an instant, Markandeya found himself back in his own hermitage, just as before. He had a nice virtual reality, enjoyed himself, and now he's back to his own hermitage. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 12th canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Markandeya Rishi Sees the Illusory Potency of the Lord. So that is what it means by illusion. Whatever we think this is the reality and everything, we take it so seriously. This is it. There is no change, no difference, and we speculate with our mind how we are going to solve everything ourselves with our puny minds. And here we see how we are thinking of our small, tiny problems, and we think we are going to solve it with our mind. And here, huge creations, inundations, everything he saw. And in a moment, it was there, and in the next moment, it's gone. So, and everything, the orchestrator of everything is Krishna. So, we should always approach only Krishna. Being a Paramahamsa means not that we develop some kind of 4 arms or something. Paramahamsa means always depending on Krishna, always meditating on Krishna. And that's what you, so that is how Mayavadis think that you have to become a sannyasi to become renounced, or, to realize Brahman. But in Vaishnavism, it's not like that, because everything is within Krishna, resting on Krishna's energy. We just have to connect back that how everything belongs to Krishna, is situated in Krishna, and we concentrate on our relationship with Him as a servant. We have no separate desires of our own, no agendas, but we just are ready to do whatever Krishna wants. That's why he said, Guru Maharaj said, do everything to please Krishna. And then after that, he asked everyone, what do you think about it? And everyone said, Hari Bol. It's very nice to say that, but then to actually do that, we need a lot of mercy and a lot of, tapas, praying to Krishna and chanting. And his mercy, we need Guru and Krishna's mercy. So chapter 10, Lord Shiva and Uma glorify Markandeya Rishi. In this chapter, Sri Suta Goswami describes how Markandeya Rishi received benedictions from Lord Shiva. Once, as Lord Shiva was traveling in the sky with his wife Parvati, he came across Sri Markandeya merged in meditative trance. At the request of Parvati, Lord Shiva presented himself before the sage to grant him the result of his austerities. Coming out of his trance, Sri Markandeya saw Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the 3 worlds, together with Parvati, and he worshipped them by offering them obeisances, words of greeting, and a sitting place. Then Lord Shiva praised the saintly devotees of the personality of Godhead and requested Sri Markandeya to choose whatever benediction he desired. This time he's not going to ask about illusion and all that. Markandeya begged for unflinching devotion to the Supreme Lord Hari, to the devotees of the Supreme Lord, and to Lord Shiva himself. Satisfied with Markandeya's devotion, Lord Shiva awarded him the boons of renown, freedom from old age and death until the time of universal dissolution, knowledge of all 3 phases of time, renunciation, realized knowledge, and the position of a teacher of the Puranas. Those who chant and hear the story of Markandeya Rishi will attain liberation from material life, which is based on the accumulated desires generated from fruitive work. Yeah. So Markandeya, this is the, amazing, what do you call, he actually was supposed to live only for 11 years, and then he became so immortal that until dissolution, he was going to live. That is the unpredictable things of Krishna. Each one's life is very amazing. We plan something and something else turns out. We are born with some natures, we have some desires, and Krishna, when we surrender to Krishna, it completely changes and it becomes very wonderful. Suta uvacha sa evam anubhuyedam narayana vinirmitam vaibhavam yoga mayayas tam eva sharanam yayau. Suta Goswami said the Supreme Lord Narayana had arranged this opulent display of his bewildering potency. Markandeya Rishi, having experienced it, took shelter of the Lord. Shri Markandeya Uvacha Prapannosmi Angri Moolam Te Prapanna Bhaya Dam Hare Yanmayayapi Vibhuda Muhyanti Jnana Kashaya. Shri Markandeya said, O Lord Hari, I take shelter of the soles of your lotus feet, which bestow fearlessness upon all who surrender to them. Even the great demigods are bewildered by your illusory energy, which appears to them in the guise of knowledge. Conditioned souls are attracted to material sense gratification, and thus they meticulously study the workings of nature. Although they appear to be advancing in scientific knowledge, they become increasingly entangled in their false identification with the material body and therefore increasingly merge into ignorance, which is what is happening now. People think, oh, we're all so advanced now. See, so many, because of this scientific advancement, we can do so many things. Even elderly people get bewildered. In my time, what we were all, we didn't have anything. We were so simple and now only people are so advanced. They get bewildered. And what is that? What is that advancement? They appear to be advancing in scientific knowledge, but they become increasingly entangled in their false identification with the material body and therefore increasingly merge into ignorance. That is the sad thing. With all this advancement, we can say so many people feel you now see the young people soon after their education, they get a nice job and they look forward to buying a house soon and car and everything, all these which seemed like a big achievement in before. But, but we see that people, especially the ones who are earning very well, what happens to them? Have no sense control, mental control, and do all atrocious things, killing their own children or killing their spouses or having illicit extramarital affairs, all because of false identification with the material body and therefore increasingly merge into ignorance. So what kind of advancement is that? Suta uvacha tam evam nibritatmanam vrishena diviparyatan rudranya bhagavan rudro dadarshasva ganair vritha. Okay, we'll do this tomorrow about Lord Shiva. So we saw, luckily, Markandeya Rishi is out of his maya, his illusion, and now he has learned his lesson and he took shelter of the Lord. That is the only hope. The soul feels completely satisfied only when we take shelter of Krishna. And if we think there is something else which is there haunting me, I want to enjoy that, that is all illusion. That is certainly illusion. After seeing this, we should know. We should not desire like Markandeya Rishi said to see the illusory potency. I mean, he wasn't so much for sense gratification. It was more a curiosity. He wanted to see what is this, what is that. Like some scientists, doing research whole days. Some scientists will be sitting in the laboratory and keeping on this thing. Guru Maharaj told about one scientist was doing a full study on cockroach. How do cockroaches, how are they born? How do they hatch? Where do they lay eggs? What kind of communities they have, family life, community life. Imagine studying whole year, whole life research on cockroach. And he said at the end of his life, I don't know, he must be meditating on the cockroach and God knows what life he'll get. So it's such a waste of time to study illusory energy. It's all illusion. That is why Bhagavatam, whatever it gives, is more than enough. Okay, how this universe, for our curiosity, we should know that what are all available in the universe. And okay, you want to take another birth, take. But you have to spiritually advance for that. So at least there is some progress. And, and why Vedas are not giving too much? Why should we know how Krishna created all this? Krishna has got mystic power. He can do anything. So, what is the point in studying? Can we have any complete knowledge about anything? It's still incomplete. And then we study something, and then they're very sure that this is how it is. And after some time, they find no. Actually, something else is, influencing it, and keep on contradicting and learning. And finally, Prabhupada said, even through study of material world, finally scientists will come to the conclusion there has to be a supreme person. Otherwise, we have been trying and trying to understand. We think we can control this material nature. Impossible. Completely defeated. Then finally, like Markandeya Rishi, maybe Krishna will reveal himself to them. Oh, stupid scientists, now see. This is my mystic potency. What you're trying to understand this. You just surrender to me and I will reveal it bit by bit. That's why Prabhupada said, easy journey to other planets. Easy journey. You don't have to do all these things. And that to what? You just go and land there and you don't see anything. And and also it's very risky. And how many people can go like that? On the other hand, he said, do yoga through your meditation, tapasya, control your mind and senses. Yogi can transfer himself very easily. No need of any space vehicle or anything. Just think, okay, I want to go to Siddhaloka. Then you will be there. So, or maybe you can even fly in space. That also we hear about how different sages like Durvasa Muni and all, he traveled through space. Even Narada Muni, he just travels sometimes. He's just flying around. So all that is possible, provided we keep spiritually progressing. We can have these material things. Whatever Krishna has made it available for those who want to be here and see what is the illusory pleasures available. So that is also there. But then you have to spiritually progress. So that is very nice. And that is why all our education was based on knowing the fundament, knowing about, the way that Krishna is created, not in a perverted way, which the scientists are, that is demoniac. That is why the more educated one is nowadays, the more they become atheistic, the more they become characterless, the more they become arrogant, because it's not based on the way that we are supposed to know about this universe. Even you learn through Vedas, you know everything perfectly, and the more you're educated, the more you become humble. But here the opposite is happening. And that's what. And it only makes you earn more money and control others. And this is it. So they become more demoniac, actually, Rakshasas. No good quality. And you lose all your faith because you think, see, I can control so many things. Okay, stop now, Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble wishes.
Yeah, please accept my humble obeisance.
Mataji, this is my understanding. I may be wrong. So I was thinking Markandeya is a already very exalted devotee, and like Cupid and Indradev couldn't do anything, even though they wanted to do something wrong with him. So I think this boon of having the experience of illusory energy, probably it's Krishna's plan, because sometimes Krishna's make his devotees to act like that, so that conditions so like me can understand, like if we are behind the illusionary energy, then how much the difficulties, miseries will have in the life. This is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, could be, because that's why, just like Arjuna was also put into that situation now to
Yes, Mother.
ask, like that, Markandeya Rishi could also have been an instrument. Otherwise, to ask for this boon, I don't know why he asked. So it was just for us to know what happens during annihilation. Then it's so terrifying, no, to continue living and finally to experience this kind of dissolution. Of course, normally everybody is finished. Just the floods comes, you have to give up your life, and then you go into the Mahavishnu's body. And all because, I mean, that part of it, we know it's horrible. But why we continue still with our material life? Because we cannot control our mind. That is the main reason. And mind is the storehouse of all desires, and that senses also manifest. But actually, the desire is all in the mind. The minute the mind is purified, senses also get purified. That is the secret. And that is why any even most sinful person addicted to all kinds of sinful activities, no problem. You tell him to control his mind through chanting, he can control his senses. So we should not worry so much. Oh, stop smoking, stop doing drinking. That is all only senses. The real culprit is the mind, which is imagining that it's enjoying. The senses are just doing some things, but who's actually enjoying? The mind. Mind is the controller of the senses, and mind is thinking I'm enjoying by smoking and all that. I really perplexing how smoking becomes. Of course, it has the nicotine, or which actually is addictive. But to think that that gives some pleasure, that again, it's the creation of the mind. And so that is why, by giving a higher taste, Prabhupada showed the miracle. How? By just giving us association, making them chant, doing kirtan and all that, their mind got attracted, purified, and overnight they gave up everything. And people were amazed. How is this happening? All this while they were considered the most degraded people of society, and overnight they became saints. So we can understand everything is in the mind. And that is the only thing we need to worry about. And of course, we have the mantra to control the mind. And that's the only reason uncontrolled mind is the cause of our bondage. Wanting to, even though we know, so much suffering in this material world, again, repeated birth, but still we become engrossed in our day-to-day things. Whatever is troubling us so much, we become so attached, and we think only that has to become okay. Otherwise, I cannot, manage. Mind is hurting us. Mind is tormenting us. So the real the real culprit or the criminal is the mind. And we have to run away from the mind into the lotus feet of Lord Krishna through his holy names. So we've got such a big, wonderful method. We should never trust the mind. The mind is the asura. And we want to be with Krishna. And then mantra trayate, it delivers the mind. So this is the most important thing of our lives. And some people will say, oh, I don't have time to chant. I'm so immersed in illusion, I don't have time to chant. So we have to really put the nail on the head and tell them, no, you chant and then adjust your illusion around it. You're already in illusion. And you're saying you want to be deeper into illusion. You don't have any time. That is illusion. That is the thing. See, we always look for comfort zone. Something which is materially very comfortable. That's what we choose. Suppose we have to take our choice between, say, I have to tell the initiated devotees, some of them wouldn't come, far away places. So what happens? The mind always So now it is very this thing, you want to go there and glorify Guru Maharaj and get his blessings and take some offering for him. Everything is there. But the material mind will tell you it's very, very difficult, that problem, this problem. Then what happens? We always settle for what is material, not always. That is the tendency. Default option materially is to go and listen to the mind. Yeah, it's very difficult, so I will not go. That's an easy solution. But there are other methods of tackling with it. How do you make sure that you don't lose spiritually also, and materially also you see that it's not very difficult or you can manage it somehow? That is what you have to, that's why you can discuss, no? You should discuss with devotees, that how can I make sure that, this is the problem. How do I solve it? Not just think, oh, my mind is saying, okay, forget about spiritual. This is very difficult, so I'll settle for material. That is a material default option. But using our spiritual intelligence, we have to see how that we don't compromise on spiritual ever. We also address the material, but spiritual should be the focus. And somehow then you'll find a solution for the material also. But what we do is we focused on material, and then the minute something material is threatened, we drop the spiritual. Okay, now I cannot do it. Some people give up chanting also. No, I got too many problems. I was so much opposition, something or the other, and then they'll stop chanting. Drop the spiritual first. That is the default option. And on the other hand, we know that there is a solution because Krishna is full of solutions. We have to take shelter of him, take shelter of Guru, take shelter of devotees, and find out how. You have to analyze and discuss, and then there will be a way in which you can have this also and that also. You can have a cake and you can eat it also. That is possible through spiritual means. That it happened. I mean, like yesterday, one Mataji, she's just got initiated and she lives a little far away. And she called me and she told me, Mataji, I've written the offering and all that. But, I don't think I can come so far away. I said, what are you talking about? Then I just got initiated. You have to come for Vyasa Puja. Then she was saying, no, my husband, no, he won't come. I have to come alone. Her parents' house is near the center. So I said, okay, you come and sleep in your parents' house and go back. No. Yesterday was Friday. And it seems on Fridays, you're not supposed to sleep outside your house. Anyway, that may be some people feel strongly about it. So I said, okay. Then you ask your husband also to come say that, he's a great sadhu. And where do you find sadhus nowadays to bless and all that? Where do you find? Whom do you go for getting, blessings and all that? I said, it's such a good opportunity. Tell him something and bring him. Then she didn't say, she said, okay, Mataji. And she didn't argue, nothing. And then what happened? She came along with her son. She came and she went back. So she came, materially also she solved it because husband didn't want to come. She brought her son along and she went back. It must have been late when she reached, but anyway, her son was with her. But see, there were others who were also far away. They happily decided on their own that it's very difficult to go, so we won't go. I don't know, maybe they attended on Zoom, but this is the difference, how you make solutions. The easy thing is to say, okay, materially discomfort, drop it. But there is a solution. If you're really desirous of not letting go of the spiritual, material can be adjusted. Yeah, okay.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble.
Yeah.
Mataji, in yesterday's Vyas Puja lecture, Guru Maharaj was saying Mahadvadashi and Full Dwadashi, because I don't know the difference, Mataji, just wanted to know.
Yeah, he said that the Mayapur it is Mahadvadashi and Delhi it was full
Full
Dwadashi.
Dwadashi, yeah.
I don't know, I have to find out myself because we had Ekadashi here.
Yeah, that's and he's saying Mahadvadashi, Full Dwadashi also they are making Ekadashi
Ekadashi
food.
Prasadam.
So maybe the difference.
We have to ask someone from Mayapur only who knows all these things. I don't know. I didn't know also what he was telling.
Yeah. Yesterday it was very nice, Mataji, to see him
Yeah, very nice it was. For the people of Delhi, of course, it was like suddenly one big this thing for them. I mean, big blessing suddenly descended from the heaven for them.
When Guru Maharaj said Delhi, Lokanath Maharaj, I think His Holiness Lokanath Maharaj,
Ah,
I think did not agree. He said it's
no,
not
no,
Delhi,
Noida.
Noida. Okay,
Because
okay.
Noida is in UP, na? It's not in
Yeah,
Delhi.
yeah.
That's why he wanted to correct him. It's in Noida, not in Delhi.
And Maharaj was sharing one incident, no, Mataji, about the installation of Gaur, what is that? Deity Mataji in Mayapur. Gaura Sundar, no. So Maharaj and Guru Maharaj together installed the deity, but Maharaj wanted to carry the deity back, something like that. So they had almost 10 days quarrel in between them, like not. But Guru Maharaj was not agree to give him that deity, and then at last they came to the conclusion, like okay, I will give you new one.
What is that? I never heard this.
No, Lokanath Maharaj, Mataji.
Oh, I didn't hear that. What did he
Lokanath
say?
Maharaj. In Mayapur, that Gaura, what is that deity, Mataji? Gaura, another temple in another temple, Gauranga or something is there, no,
Gaur
Mataji?
Gadadhar.
Something, Mataji. Gaura Gadadhar, or, I'm not able to. Gaura only, something. They both together planned for that installation, it seems. So, means Maharaj was saying, like, how close relation they have, like, in that
Acha,
he
he
was
and Guru
having.
Maharaj.
Yeah, he and Guru Maharaj together traveled so much all over the world. He was sharing, Then he was telling about this deity. They do both together install that, but Maharaj wanted to carry, I don't know, something. Then Guru Maharaj did not agree, so they had almost 10 days. There was a lot of discussion in between them. Then at last Guru Maharaj suggested, like to have a new deity for traveling. Maybe I hear
Uh-huh.
again properly, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
So he was sharing, I think, some more pastimes of both of them actually.
Mataji, we are listening this. What? Vinay, what did you say?
Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. We are listening.
माताजी
Describe the
हाँ बता
Shastra.
रहा हूँ माताजी
क्या
ये जैसे
वेदा एंड
लोग
शास्त्र में
बोलते
क्या
हैं
डिस्क्राइब?
अगर किसी का डेथ हो जाता है माताजी तो घर में जो 13 डेज तक होता है 13 दिन तक होता है बोलते हैं कि अगर उनके घर में जा रहे हैं तो उसके बाद नहाना है या नहा के कुछ भी करना है 13 दिन तक
हाँ,
तो माताजी ये शास्त्र में भी लिखा है या फिर हम लोग ऐसे ही बोलते हैं
नहीं वेदों में भी ये बताया गया होगा क्योंकि अशुद्धि है ना। हाँ, वो है।
हाँ
आप लोग उधर जाके कीर्तन कर रहे हैं इसलिए बोल रहे हैं उनका घर में जाके, नर्मदा माता जी के घर में।
नहीं नहीं वो तो ठीक है कीर्तन कर रहे हैं माताजी बट ये सच है मतलब ये नहीं नहीं वो तो ठीक है माताजी बट ये सच
नहीं
में
नहीं,
वो
वो
शास्त्रों में
घर में
डिस्क्राइब है या
जाने
फिर
से
हम लोग ऐसे
नहीं,
ही बोलते
किसी का ये बॉडी देखने से जो
हैं? हाँ बॉडी देखने के बाद नहाता है ना माताजी
हाँ तभी, क्योंकि अशुद्ध है ना
हाँ उस
उनका
टाइम तो ठीक
डेथ
है
हुआ है।
माता जी लेकिन बोलते 13 डेज तक अगर उनको उनके घर पे गए तो फिर नहाना पड़ेगा
हाँ
ऐसा ऐसा ही क्या
हाँ हाँ, ऐसा भी है। हाँ, वो क्योंकि अशुद्धिकरण के कारण। लेकिन आप
शुद्धिकरण
लोग
के कारण
कीर्तन किया एक्चुअली। मैं आप स्नान किया फिर?
नहीं नहीं, वो तो करते हैं, उसकी बात नहीं है, लेकिन ये सच में डिस्क्राइब है भगवत मतलब शास्त्रों में, या फिर वैसे ही हम लोग बोलते हैं, वो पूछना
हाँ,
था।
ये विधि सब
क्योंकि
दिया
अगर
गया है
कोई
ना वेद में।
क्योंकि अगर कोई पूछ लेगा कि ये कहाँ लिखा है तो क्या बताएंगे हमको।
हाँ हाँ, लिखा है ना, वेदों में लिखा है।
ये
अच्छा।
गरुड़ पुराण में भी है ना माता जी, गरुड़ पुराण में लिखा है, बट 10 दिन का रहता है माता जी, 10 दिन में शुद्धि हो जाती है। और 11 डेज से लोग जा सकते हैं और फिर नहीं नहाते, मतलब 13 डेज तो तैरनी ही
गरुड़
रहती
पुराण
है।
में लिखा है?
हाँ, गरुड़ पुराण में है सब है।
अच्छा ठीक है।
हाँ, बट 10 दिन तक रहती है अशुद्धि, जैसे माता जी ने बोला। 11 डेज से फिर अशुद्धि नहीं रहती।
हम्म, ठीक है
हम्म।
ठीक है। Got it.
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, थैंक यू।
So we pray for the good health and speedy recovery of His Holiness Jai Tak Swami, and coming back to normal health, because Krishna is Yogeshwara, he can do anything. And so we pray that he becomes completely normal. So let us chant 3 times for him. Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare
कृष्णा हरे
Krishna,
कृष्णा
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna,
कृष्णा
Hare
हरे
Hare,
हरे
Hare
हरे
Rama, Hare
हरे
Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna, Hare
कृष्णा हरे
Krishna,
कृष्णा
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna,
कृष्णा
Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare Krishna,
कृष्णा
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna,
कृष्णा
Hare
हरे
Hare.
हरे
Hare
हरे
Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Maybe the Ekadashi overlapped with the Mahadvadashi or something like that. So that is why something. Anyway, you